On today's show, it's a game day preview. The Ottawa Senators continue their road trip in Vegas.
We take a look at both teams' lines, players to watch, and what do the Ottawa Senators need to do to get a win in Vegas for the first time since 2018.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Today is Wednesday, November 26th, and Pillsy, it looks like a captain is returning for tonight's game, but unfortunately, it's not the Sens.
It's a guy that could have and possibly should have been the Ottawa Senators captain, Mark Stone. Why did he have to do this? Why not just wait an extra game like our captain, Brady Tkachuk, is doing and come back? I don't know when they play, probably Friday. Why did he have to do this, Ross, and come back tonight?
It's so disrespectful.
Rude.
You know the last time Ottawa beat Vegas in Vegas, Mark Stone scored a goal for the Ottawa Senators. That's how long it's been. Alex Burrows scored the game winner, assisted by Erik Karlsson and Max McCormick back in March of 2018. This has been a house of horrors for the Ottawa Senators, just loss after loss. And it feels like there's been some lopsided ones in there, but last year, it wasn't lopsided. Frankly, Ottawa should have and could have won that game. Nick Cousins took a penalty in the third period, and the momentum just shifted like that. Vegas rained it on from there, winning 5-3, I believe was the final score, if not 6-4. It was a 2-goal loss, 6-4. And that was probably one of the more frustrating losses of last season. Not quite the Vancouver level that happened almost a year to the day. So I want to say thank you to the citizen that posted our reaction after that game, but I honestly didn't need to relive it.
I was down in the dumps, Ross. That was a tough 1 minute rant by me, just completely depressed. But look at us now.
I had such a migraine there, and then 2 hours later found out my wife was going into labor. So I was that was quite the roller coaster of emotions a year ago today. The Sens have been great, though, since that. Like, they turned it around on November 25th last year, and from that moment on, I think they have 48 wins in that stretch. Our good friend Jack Richardson had the stat there that they are 48, 26, and 10 since November 25th of last year. So lots of time between now and then. So where we look forward on the fourth game of a 7-game road trip tonight for the Sens is internally. Still no Thomas Chabot, still no Brady Tkachuk, and still no Ridley Gregg. All three remain out. Lines will be the same as they were against the Los Angeles Kings. And look, we've said our piece about the officiating and everything that happened in the LA game. But if you look at how Ottawa handled it, I think there's a lot to build off of that they can use tonight to hopefully make this another victory. They're 2-1 on the road trip. You go into these trips saying, hey, you want to finish at 500. You got St. Louis, Dallas, and the Montreal Canadiens to end the trip. So to get a win here would just be so good for the confidence of this team. And hopefully they're building off of a great dinner last night, paid for by Shane Pinto off the contract extension. It was an extremely optional skate yesterday. Only a handful of players, including Brady Tkachuk, were on the ice. But you look for a full team practice this morning. That's why we're recording a little bit later. Sens just got off the ice for the morning skate. But they're going to have to look around the locker room and say who's going to step up tonight. Because with Mark Stone back, we'll get to Vegas's lines. They basically have 3 first lines up front. Their quote-unquote third line had 2 30-goal scorers last year in Pavel Dorofiev and Tomas Hertl. The Sens didn't have any on their entire roster.
There is no team and or place that I fear more than the Golden Knights and playing in Las Vegas. Like, this is thank God, Ross, we only play them once a year in Vegas. This is my number one feared opponent.
Number 2 for me.
The Oilers are ahead of them for you?
No, on the road is the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know how Vegas isn't your number one. And this is without no William Karlsson either. You talked about having 3 first lines essentially, and you're missing a middle 6 centerman. Like,
and one of their best defensemen in Pietrangelo, but he's likely out for the entire season.
I think he might be done.
Yeah, he might be.
Like
he ain't playing tonight.
Yeah,
well,
with our luck, Ross, as you're listening to this, the Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy will announce Pietrangelo is back in the lineup because we didn't think Mark Stone was going to play tonight. I didn't even know he was close to coming back. And then, like the Undertaker, that meme where he just pops out of the casket and is like, "No, I'm ready. I've got to play tonight up against my old team." Oh.
We should note it's not confirmed that he's back. He took line rushes today for the first time wearing a contact jersey. But what makes us think that he'll play is the fact that he was also taking reps on the first power play unit.
Ross, he is playing tonight. I know you're trying to be like, whoa, we don't know for sure. Let's hold off. But I think all signs point to him playing tonight. And that's just the Sens luck.
Sinbin Vegas, a great follow on social media, just replied to us and said he's in. And Mark Stone, why we are a little down in the dumps about this. 1, every Sens fan knows he's just a fantastic player. But 2, in 6 career games against Ottawa, Mark Stone has at least a point in every single one of those games. He has 11 points in 6 games. That is the highest points per game of any active player in the National Hockey League that's played at least 5 games against the Senators. It's actually the most of any. There's 2 guys with 3 games, but even they have less than Mark Stone has against the Senators. And then you add on top of that Jack Eichel, who with Buffalo killed Ottawa all the time. And then he did that again with Vegas. He scored a late game winner against Ottawa 2 years ago in Ottawa that put the final night dagger in the Ottawa Senators. So this is a game where I will be extremely impressed if the Senators come out on the road and get a victory.
Honestly, I'll be impressed if they keep it close. I know maybe people are yelling at me, Pills, you gotta have faith in this team. Look how good they are. This is one of the few spots in the schedule where I just
don't say it.
What will come will come. I'm not saying it. I know you want me to say it. And for the record, when I have said SL'd, the Ottawa Senators have gone on to win. So that's a little extra brain power. I was using the old reverse jinx, but I don't think I'm going to pull that ace out of my sleeve tonight, Ross. We talk about Mark Stone playing 6 games up against the Senators and having good points. Well, Mark Stone has played 6 games this season, and he might be thinking, oh, man, this guy's had so many injuries. He's getting up there in age. 6 games. What is he? Maybe a point per game guy. He's got a couple nice points, and he's just going to figure out his game here. Mark Stone has 13 points in 6 games this season. More than 2 points per game. Like, oh, man, this...
And you don't get last change.
Back. Yeah, you don't get last change. You probably got the Vegas flu. Let's be honest. I have no issue with the boys going out celebrating on Shane Pinto's dime after a new contract. I'm not trying to be that guy that's like athletes shouldn't have fun. You're in Vegas, have a good time. Maybe playing guilty will help the boys out. But I'm just like, there is only one thing that we have, Ross, that is a way that the Ottawa Senators can win tonight's game, and we will save that for later. But because I scoured NHL.com team stats, I always look power play, penalty kill, faceoffs, goals against, goals for, shots.
Ottawa's got them in faceoffs for sure.
Yeah, but Vegas is not a bad face-off team. I'm trying to find anomalies. I'm trying to find outliers where it's like, oh, clearly there's an advantage here. Clearly there's an advantage there. Vegas is just good at everything. This is the team that really has made FM picks a successful strategy. Like, they hate having first round picks. They hate keeping them, and it's working out for them. I mean, to be a Vegas Golden Knight fan, to go to the Stanley Cup Finals your first year, when there was people that are like, this team might not win 15 games. Like, there was people that really thought that. They've flipped the hockey world upside down, and you got to give them credit. I mean, they're the villains of the NHL, I would say, but they do a damn good job of it.
Yeah, they're 3rd in the league in face-off, so it's actually going to be a really fun.
That's what I'm saying.
fun battle tonight then in the trenches. We'll be watching for that too. We'll let you know other things that we're watching for a little later on in the show. We'll also get to lineup notes for both teams. Clearly, opening segment quite a bit about how good the Vegas Golden Knights are. It must just be nice to hear if you're a Golden Knights supporter who's tuning in, and go check out Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Those boys do good work over there too. But over here, we're focused on what the Sens need to do to win this game. And there are paths to doing that. The Senators have back-to-back games with a goal from Fabian Zetterlund. They'll need that second line to be solid. Dylan Cousins has been playing great hockey of late too. And then you got Timmy Superstar. I mean, the lights are bright in Vegas, and Tim Stützle loves putting on a show. So let's see if Tim Stützle can lead the Ottawa Senators to a victory tonight. And there is that carrot dangling that's saying, hey, you win the first 3 or 4 of 4 games on this road trip, and Brady's coming back on Friday. That's a way to get some momentum rolling downhill as you get a little more tired. All the movement of going back and forth, Northern Cal back to SoCal. It's going to be a big test tonight, and here's the boys that will do it later on in the show. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch. Guys, let's be honest. Most of us can't name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401ks, savings, investments, it's easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. Don't do that. That's why there's Monarch, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. It's going to help you organize your accounts, track your spending, and get a better handle on your investments without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. You can review everything with your partner, see your shared goals, and make better financial decisions together. Monarch's got visual dashboards and smart tools, so it's so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work harder for you. So in this economy, don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year.
Today's episode is also brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub. It's our pub in the heart of the Glebe. Check them out at 779 Bank Street, walking distance from Lansdowne, and head there for great food, awesome drinks, and an atmosphere to match. Every night of the week, there's something going on, like tonight where they have open mic night. If you want to play or sit back and enjoy, you can do that. It's the perfect warm-up to the Senators game. Go catch it there. Why not? You can also start your week every Monday with wing night there. On Thursdays, they've got cheap tacos, and my favorite, live music every Saturday night with no cover ever. You can also check out the Sens Shuttle. All December dates are available on their website. Go check them out at GLEBECentralPub.com. 7 games to choose from, and the bus is only $18 round trip. So you leave an hour and 15 minutes before the game, and it'll bring you right back to the pub at 779 Bank Street. It leaves 15 minutes after the game. So get your tickets now at GLEBECentralPub.com. The vibes are free at the GCP. Go check them out, 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. All right, Pillsy, it is an Ottawa Senators game day. The Sens are 11-7-4 this season, and they're visiting a Vegas Golden Knights team that, despite all the praise that we've heaped on them so far, they haven't been winning a whole lot of games of recently. 3 wins in their last 10 games. They're 3-3-4, so they're getting a lot of overtime practice in this one. The Vegas Golden Knights have 9 regulation wins this season. The Ottawa Senators have 8. So maybe, just maybe, the gap isn't as big between these two teams as originally thought out. The Senators have 71 goals for, 71 goals against. They're right at even, where the Vegas Golden Knights have scored less but allowed less. They're at a +3 differential with 68 goals for and 65 against. Vegas has played the same number of games, 22, as the Ottawa Senators. Vegas is 5-3-3 on home ice. The Senators are 5-4-2 on the road.
Yeah, it's I mean, when you look at the standings, Ross, and you put those numbers out, it does seem like these two teams are a lot closer. I mean, the East and West are two very different conferences as well. There's a lot more. I shouldn't say a lot more, but there is a handful of teams that are bad in the West, where really in the East there isn't many. I mean, I get you could put Buffalo there, but they're at least competing and they're finding ways to win games, whereas the West is able to beat up on some other teams.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto dead last in the division or conference.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Yeah, and Vegas is getting back from a 3-game road trip. This will be their first home game since a 3-2 win over the Rangers, and they were on the road for 2 games before that too. So it's only their second home game since November 13th. So 2 weeks between more than just the one at home. This is their first of a 4-game homestand, and Pilsy, you talk about some easier games. Well, 2 teams that are coming to Vegas soon are the San Jose Sharks and Chicago Blackhawks. Those 2 teams are kind of attached at the hip, right? With the first overall pick, Celebrini, Bedard, all that. Well, guess who's coming into Vegas after Ottawa? It's the Montreal Canadiens.
Yep.
So that should be probably not for the players, but for the fans, need Ottawa to do better than Montreal against the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the goal, to achieve more than the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, and right now the standings are so tight in the Atlantic Division and the East overall that if Ottawa wins tonight, there's a fair chance they finish first place in the Atlantic Division. And if they lose, there's a fair chance that they wake up tomorrow on the outside looking into the playoff picture. That's how close things are for the Ottawa Senators right now. And here's the group of men that will be going to battle tonight against the Golden Knights. Top line of Tim Stützle with former original misfit with the Golden Knights, David Perron, Drake Batherson on right wing there. Then you have Dylan Cousins centering Lars Eller and Fabian Zetterlund. Shane Pinto is between Michael Amadio and Claude Giroux. And then it's Stephen Halliday with Nick Cousins and Hayden Hodgson. Good to see Halliday's all right. I know he came back in the game, but sometimes there's some swelling after a play like he took with the big hit that cut him in the game against LA. On defense, Jake Sanderson and Artem Zub, Tyler Klevin and Jordan Spence. Then it's Nicholas Matinpalo with Nick Jensen. Linus Ullmark starts in goal tonight. He's been much better of late for the Ottawa Senators, but still struggling overall in the season with the numbers well below where you'd like. So big opportunity for Linus Ullmark. Pilsy, I'm going to lead off with a bonus locked on player because this one just popped in my head, and hopefully the Senators are watching this goal to feel good about themselves. Did you know that Lars Eller scored the Stanley Cup clinching goal in this rink against the Vegas Golden Knights?
Ooh, okay. I like that. Let's go, Lars.
Yeah, that's a nice little bit of business. So he's probably strutting into that rink saying, oh, man, you know what he should do? He should wear his Stanley Cup ring to tonight's game.
Nice. Now,
he's probably got that thing under lock and key, but it's a good idea.
The Golden Knights could counter with all of them wearing their Stanley Cup ring.
Wasn't against him.
Wasn't against him. Yep,
1-0 in the Cup final. Lars
I mean,
Eller.
how many of the players in Vegas now was that Stanley Cup game that Lars Eller won up against too? One of them plays on the Ottawa Senators, David Perron.
Yeah, exactly. True. I didn't put that together there, even though I just mentioned he was on that team. But Braden McNabb and Shea Theodore are the 2 original, and Riley Smith, who left and came back. He's on Vegas's 4th line tonight. But I mentioned Tim Stützle playing well when the lights are bright. He's got 7 points in 8 career games against the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, he's also -6, but he's got 7 points in 8 career games. Let's get him to a point per game. So let's see 2-point Timmy tonight. He'll be my locked on player because he is just so fun to watch. Every shift he's out there, you have to be locked on to what Timmy Superstar is up to.
Okay, I love it. And yeah, give it to the German. We talk about keys to the game, Ross. I said there was only one. I'll piggyback on you and say there is 2. Give it to the German. This guy's got to find a way to get it done. Up against top teams, bright lights, you need your top guy to perform. So Tim Stützle, I like that. I'm going with guy on his line that we just mentioned, number 57, David Perron, former Vegas Golden Knight. He has played them 22 times, 17 points in 22 games. Not bad. 6 goals, 11 assists. Not a very good shooting percentage, only 9%. So let's bump those numbers up. But why I wanted to make sure I'm locked on to David Perron is Brady's music is here. It's back. He's coming back next game. Now, Ridley Gregg is out, so that will likely give David Perron more time to spend in the top 6 with Brady returning. But you mentioned it. Lars Eller hasn't looked out of place playing the wing and in the top 6. So David Perron's ice time has dwindled these last 2 games. Only 11:46 up against the Kings and 12:57 up against the San Jose Sharks, where he's been averaging, let's see, what's his average here as I click
Well, because Dave,
14, 17. So that's down from his average. And I want to see him compete and help out Tim Stützle and Drake Batherson. Not to say that he hasn't been doing that, but you got to be aware of what's coming here when Greg gets back, Tkachuk is back. I think most people have Perron pegged as the guy to slide all the way down to the 4th line. So make the most of this opportunity here.
I've got another wild stat for tonight. Oh, man, this is going to be a woe. You remember, Hayden Hodgson was the guy who flattened Mark Stone in preseason a few years ago, and he said, that guy's never going to play in the league. Well, he's playing against you tonight, so keep your head up in the D zone because Hayden Hodgson's coming. He's coming to hit hard.
I hope that is a throwback, but I don't want Hayden Hodgson on the ice at the same time as Mark Stone. No offense.
That's a fair comeback.
Their only interaction is during warmups.
Yeah. Well, Hayden Hodgson, he's one of those guys too. When those guys come back, he's trying to make an impact so he can stay in this lineup. So we'll see if Hayden Hodgson's got something up his sleeve for tonight's game. But just a little note to keep aware of. Also, Jordan Spence has 5 assists in 8 career games against the Golden Knights. That is tied for the most points he has against any opponent. The Chicago Blackhawks, the other, where he has 5 points against them. So will Jordan Spence getting to play a top 4 role be a factor in tonight's game? We'll have to wait and see. 10 o'clock game. We will have the postcast for you afterwards. If you're going to sleep, no worries. We got you covered. It'll be in your podcast feeds for you when you wake up. Let's look at tonight's opponent on the other side. And I have some notes after being boots on the ground or boots in the booth up in Winnipeg yesterday, where I got to see the Belleville Sens win a 5-2 game over the Manitoba Moose. I'll be back in the booth tonight, and it's a great pre-gamer for the Sens. Belleville Sens start at 8 o'clock Eastern. Game will be over just after the Sens game starts. I'll catch Dean and Gord for the first period and then be dialed in second and third and maybe overtime before the postcast. All right, the Vegas Golden Knights lines and players to watch next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push late into the night like the Ottawa Senators hopefully will be doing up against the Vegas Golden Knights on FanDuel. The Ottawa Senators are plus 150 money line. The over-under set at 5.5. And if you're watching all the games, waiting for the Sens game to happen, check out the puck drop special. So many fun daily special bets. Like you can bet that each team playing today will score 2+ goals. Each game will have 3+ goals scored. So you can bet on the entire NHL slate, and you can do it on FanDuel. And if you're a new customer, they're going to give you $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
All right, Pillsy, it's game day for the Ottawa Senators taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. 10 o'clock start from T-Mobile Arena. We've already got a boots on the ground report dialed in for the postcast, so we're fired up to go live to Las Vegas for after the game. I wonder if they found any of our chips on the floor of the Venetian from when we were there for the NHL draft a couple of seasons ago. What a trip that was, where the Senators acquired Carter Yakimchuk. I'll let you know my thoughts on Yak's game in Manitoba from yesterday. But first, let's look at the Vegas Golden Knights lines for tonight's game. They still have injuries to William Karlsson, Jeremy Lauzon, and Aiden Hill, their starting goalie, plus Alex Pietrangelo, who was ruled out for pretty much the season before this one got started. Jack Eichel centering the top line with Ivan Barbashev, and we've got a new face for the Vegas Golden Knights, guy who has a slight connection to Ottawa. He was on the Junior Senators roster for the COVID season, didn't end up playing a game, but Kitchener native Braden Bowman is on the top line right wing spot because they've moved one of their right wings to the left wing on the second line. Brett Howden is going to center Mitch Marner and Mark Stone. Imagine telling a Sens fan 8-9 years ago that Mark Stone and Mitch Marner would be on a line together. Yikes. Third line, Tomas Hertl centering Pavel Dorofiev and Brandon Saad. The fourth line is Colton Sissons with Riley Smith and Keegan Colasar. Looks like former Senator Cole Reinhardt will be a healthy scratch in this one. So too will Alexander Holtz. On the back end, the OG Misfits Golden Knights pair of Braden McNabb with Shea Theodore. Then you've got Noah Hannafin with Zach Whitecloud and Ben Hutton with Caden Korzak. The goaltender will be Aiden Schmid tonight. No, Akira Schmid will start. You might remember him from the New Jersey Devils. Played a little bit there before being acquired by the Golden Knights. Probably wishing that they had Logan Thompson at this point. They sent him to Washington. He's one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League right now. Pilsy, your lookout player to watch.
All right, he's in a new division, a new conference, and on a new team for the first time in his career, but I still love to hate number 93, Mitch Marner. The hatred is not as strong as when he's in the blue and white, but this guy drives me nuts. The worst part about it is he's so damn good, but I don't like the way he plays hockey. Frustrates me. But I understand how good he is, and he's been good up against the Ottawa Senators in his career in 38 games, 40 points, so above a point per game. He's on that second line with Mark Stone. It disgusts me that Mark Stone is playing on a line with Mitch Marner, and they're against the Ottawa Senators. But here we are. I'm going to be looking out for Mitch Marner, who has had success in his new spot in 22 games this season, 4 goals, 17 assists, 21 points.
Pilsy, I have found the exact quote after the hit that Hayden Hodgson threw on Mark Stone. You can go check it out at Sens Central on Twitter. He said, quote, "That's probably the last time I'll ever play against that guy."
That's awesome. I mean, if you're Hayden Hodgson, you got to love that. I haven't seen many angrier NHL players in game action than Mark Stone when that happened. He lost his marbles, full red face, veins popping, blackout rage, and just went in there after it. It was crazy.
Yeah, and you can see the entire exchange and the post-game comments from Stone over on Twitter at Sens Central. My lookout player is going to be Pavel Dorofiev, probably the most unsung 30-goal scorer in NHL history last year. He actually scored 35, so I don't mean to rob him of any goals. And then if you add the 22 games he's played this season where he has 11 goals, which would be tied for the lead on the Sens, he has 46 goals in his last 104 games. So you have to be aware he is a pure shooter. He can get the puck upstairs in a hurry, and he is going to be a sneaky elite player in the league, or he is a sneaky elite goal scorer, I should say. Yeah, I don't think he's an elite player overall, but man, that guy can rip the puck. So 26 of his 46 goals during this stretch have come at even strength, which means 20 are on the power play, and Ottawa's penalty kill is already not great, to say the least. So what, you think they're great?
They have been much better in the month of November. I was looking at it, Ross. Let's see how quick I can do this here. In the month of November, here we go, pretty fast. I'll take this speed. The Ottawa Senators are 80.8% in the penalty kill. Now, overall, that's not like fantastic or amazing, but considering the fact that the Ottawa Senators were in the mid-60s for most of their time this season, that's pretty good. The issue, Ross, and we've discussed this, is the power play in November sitting at 11.5%.
Yeah, the power play needs to get going. There's no doubt about that. Like, if Ottawa's going to win tonight's game, it's because the power play helps them out and they get great goaltending.
Okay, so we're adding on different ways that the Sens are going to win here. We started with 1, and now we've talked ourselves into 3. I'm not joining you on the power play one because I don't have a lot of hope that that's going to happen. But the Tim Stützle one and one we have not discussed yet, so I'll join you on that.
Okay, discuss it. What can the Senators do to win tonight's game?
Hashtag goalie friendly show. Linus Ullmark needs to be Vezina winning style fantastic tonight. Like, we need to look at the end of the game and be like, Linus Ullmark won us this game. I think for me, that's the most important. You talked about it. 230 goal scorers on their third line. You get a guy that's more than a 2-point per game pace. Their captain inserted back into the lineup. You've got Jack Eichel, a Sens killer. You've got Mitch Marner, who's loving his time away from Toronto. You've got Ivan Barbashev, another guy that we didn't really touch on. He's a great piece here. The defensemen of Hannafin, Theodore, those guys are really good D for the Vegas Golden Knights. You're up against their starter with Aiden Hill out and Akir Schmid. Lindbaum, unfortunately, just played the game before and was terrible up against the Mammoth. I wish they would have saved him for tonight. But Linus Ullmark has to be the number one star of the game, in my opinion. Sure, Tim Stützle as well. You got to score goals too to win games. But if he doesn't shut the door, I'm very, very scared how this could go.
Yeah, and if you look at Jack Eichel, because you mentioned him beating up on the Ottawa Senators, he's got the 5th most points per game of any active player against Ottawa, 34 points in 23 career games against the Sens. Marner's got 38 points in 40 games. It's actually it's 40 points in 38 games. Yeah, I just tweeted that wrong. Not the first, won't be the last time that I'm wrong. Although Brady Tkachuk has said we're never wrong on this show. So please scrub that stat from the record, although we did correct it right away. So we're probably just right twice, right? That's how we'll work that one out. Another key to victory is have Hayden Hodgson remind Mark Stone about that incident, get him mad, and have those two sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes together, because I like that trade-off.
Again, when are we going to see Hayden Hodgson and Mark Stone on the ice at the same time when Vegas has the line change matchup?
Opening shift. I'm convinced that Mark Stone is going to circle Hayden Hodgson's name tonight. I do think this is a storyline because he was that mad.
I just rewatched the video and it's crazy. But shout out his teammates. That was immediate glove eject. All 5 Vegas Golden Knights on the ice. There wasn't like how'd that go? Should we get in there? No, immediately after.
Yeah, but look, the Sens are playing good hockey right now, and this is going to be a fun game. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think that Sens fans are going to really hope that this one doesn't get out of hand early. Otherwise, I think we're going to hear a lot of clicks on the TV early and saying, "Wake me up for 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. game in St. Louis."
Unfortunately, Ross, I do have a stat that leads against what you're trying to say here. And I'm not trying to sway people from not watching the game, but we were talking about Kings and Sens, how it was a bit snooze fest like. Not a lot of shots, not a lot of offense. I think it's fair. Those were, I said it, I really liked that last Kings game, but for late night games, a 2-1 game isn't exactly a thriller. Well, the Ottawa Senators and Vegas Golden Knights allow the 3rd least shots against per game at 25.4, and Ottawa 2nd least at 24.9. So there's not, statistically speaking, there's probably not going to be a lot of shots on goal in this game. So that's why it's even more important for Linus Ullmark to stay sharp. I find sometimes when there's not a lot of shots, that's where he struggles. So that could be one of these games. And you look at a team like Vegas that has these highly talented offensive players. They're not just chucking muffins at the net and hoping for the best. They're going to be waiting for prime scoring opportunities. And when they get them, they have a handful of players that can finish when they're in the right spot in the right time. So I think this is going to be likely it's going to be a tight defensive game. And anytime there's opportunities for odd man rushes or things like that, I think that's where this game's going to break open.
And power play as well. Like, you got to score on the power play against the Vegas Golden Knights, and their penalty kill is solid. Everything about them statistically seems fairly solid, but it's just something you got to break through. They're actually right in the middle of the pack in penalty kill. They're at 81%. I mean, that's like more than 10% better than Ottawa. The Sens and Canucks are the only two teams in the league that are below 70% on their penalty kill, but it's an opportunity tonight. And I think the lower score this game helps the Senators. Yes. The higher they get into a track meet, or the more they get into a track meet with Vegas, it's not going to be my favorite to watch. I want to see a game like the LA game, but if Ottawa scores on one of their power play opportunities, could have been a different game there, and we'll see it unfold tonight at 10 o'clock. All right, Billsy, I was at the Belleville Sens game yesterday. If you missed it, I posted a video from the old car cast after the game. But the big takeaway for me, I got two of them. One was Jorian Donovan is being relied upon as like a shutdown D down there. He had a huge block on a PK. Same with Cam Crotty. They're a pair down there, and they locked it down in the third period. So I love to see that. Also love to see Oscar Pettersson. I went to practice the other day and was chatting with him a bunch. He's just such a good dude. And I was like, let me see the curve on your stick. Like, I want to see it. He had 3 goals all season. I touch his stick, he scores twice. Woo-hoo. So I came after, and he's like, yeah, you helped me with that. And I said, yeah, I know, man. I know. So just an absolute beauty. He's been in a very defensive role, but it's such a translatable role where I know we love seeing Halliday get an opportunity, but if there's a fourth line center opening later on this year, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Oscar Pettersson get the rookie lap. Okay. The coaching staff seems very happy with his development. And if he can show a bit of offense too, that's going to have to be the key, consistent offense for him, I think. And games at 10:30 in the morning. He's got 3 goals in 2 games at 10:30 in the morning. So not sure that's going to be a consistent thing throughout the year, but those school day games, and what everyone wants to hear about is Carter Yakimchuk. Under no circumstances, let me be clear, under no circumstances should he play NHL games this year.
Thank you. I agree.
So key. He had a couple mistakes, not holding the puck in at the blue line. Then he tried to make a recovery play and put it right across onto the other team's tape, goes down the other way for an opportunity. But I see the vision. This guy, he's not afraid to do toe drags at the blue line. But man, he went 2 for 2 on toe drags at the blue line. Like, at some point, you're like, hey, that's just you. But I'm nervous to see it right now at the NHL level. But give this guy some more refinement. He's big. Wasn't physical at all in the game yesterday. I'm curious to see if that'll be more a part of his game tonight. But he did have a nice breakup play defensively on what would have been another opportunity, kind of bailing himself out to an extent. But offensively, man, on the power play, this guy is gifted. He had a assist, another one taken away, finishes with 1 assist. Kaliev scores the goal. Kaliev is another guy who, I mean, he leads the AHL in shots. He's tied for the AHL lead in goals. Like, This guy's going to be in the NHL sooner rather than later for another look.
Yeah, probably. And he's 9th in points, right there, right behind Philippe Daou. Like, it's awesome to see Belleville Senators players right there when you open up the AHL points leaders. We haven't seen that in a long time, so that's great to see. And yeah, I agree with you, Ross. It's not that Carter Yakimchuk, we're not down on him, but no, I just think they should take the time to develop him properly. Rushing your blue chip #1 prospect as a defenseman just doesn't make any sense for me. I know Sens fans are excited to see him, but there's so much that he needs to work on as a pro up against men, in my opinion, that we need to give him the time to do that. So yeah, it's awesome to see him racking up points, but he's got to clean up the rest of his game, which was always kind of the book on Yakimchuk.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I'm excited to get another look at him tonight, so I'll let everyone know what I see from Canada Life Center.
And Ross, I can't believe we didn't mention this. #goalie-friendly show. Shout out Mad Sogard getting a win. Oh my God. We're cheering for that guy, and it had been a while since he had a professional win, so it's awesome that he kind of gets that monkey off his back, and hopefully that can help him relax and ease into the playing time he's going to get here as he splits the net with Jackson Parsons, who's going to start tonight's game.
Yeah, really good. I'm really curious to see Jackson Parsons tonight too, because that third period got away from him in Laval in his last start, but he was excellent in his first 3. So fired up for that. Fired up for Senators hockey tonight too. Any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me is get your caffeine beverages and your schedule for caffeine properly regulated here, guys. It's a 10 p.m. start. It's in Vegas. Let's make sure we're awake, we're ready to go, and I want to see as many Sens fans in the postcast as possible. We love having you guys there, and a boots on the ground report. You can't beat it.
Yeah, only one more 10 p.m. start later this season. It'll be a Saturday in Seattle. Even Vancouver's going to be a 9 o'clock Eastern game. So take advantage of this. Get the nap in after work or wherever you are. Just make sure that you got the alarm set for 9:59. Get a couple minutes to get the TV on, pregame, and then puck drop in Vegas. Huge measuring stick game tonight for the Ottawa Senators. We're looking forward to it. We hope you are too. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the show. Leave a 5-star review everywhere you get your podcast and subscribe to Locked On Senators on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.